Welcome to the Saturday Morning Breakfast Mix, where we highlight the highs and lows of a particular Saturday morning cartoon and maybe some weekday ones that I, as well as many of us, grew up with, and to show why these awesome Saturday morning cartoons made weekends and weekdays just the best, and why seeing them now instantly brings back glorious memories of those carefree childhood days. Technology. With the introduction of technology in every walk of life, life has become simple. Advancements in evolution depends on our ability to create, develop, and make practical use of new scientific discoveries. Our capacity to innovate is only limited by our imaginations. Things are created to help humanity, while others are created to destroy. It is within an unfortunate incident involving a particular family that we discover how technology can benefit mankind, but also benefit those who seek nothing more than their selfish ideals. It is within these 6 individuals, a family, that new given abilities for the greater good are put to the test, fighting for peace together as a family. This is their story.
We are a family. I fight for them, and they fight for me. As close as we can be, high in the mountains or deep in the sea. BIONIC SIX. We're all together. We fight for right. BIONIC SIX. We are so proud to be a super future family.
A family brought together by faith and given superpowers through the miracle of modern science.
BIONIC SIX. We're all together. We fight for right. Super future family. And we're so very proud to be BIONIC SIX.
BIONIC SIX is an American-Japanese animated television series that aired from 1987 to 1989. It was produced by TMS Entertainment and distributed through first-run syndication by MCA-TV years before the latter company became NBC Universal Television Distribution. Renowned Japanese animation director Osamu Dezaki was involved as chief supervising director, and his distinct style, as seen in his more well-known works in anime such as Go-Go 13 and Cobra, are evident throughout all its episodes. The characters of the series are a family of machine-enhanced human beings possessing unique powers after being augmented with bionic technology. Each family member is given specific bionic power, and thus they form a superhero team called the BIONIC SIX. The show only lasted 65 episodes. The BIONIC SIX, to many of its fans, is considered one of the best action sci-fi cartoons from the 80s, and one of the most cherished animated shows with its amazing animation and compelling storylines. In the near future, Professor Dr. Amadeus Sharp, PhD, head of the Special Projects Labs, creates a new form of technology to augment humans through bionics. His first subject was Jack Bennett, a test pilot who secretly acted as Sharp's field agent, Bionic 1. On a family ski vacation in the Himalayas, an alien spacecraft triggers an avalanche that buries the entire family, exposing them to the unusual radiation of a mysterious buried object. Jack frees himself but discovers his family in a comatose state. Theorizing that Jack's bionics protected him from the radiation, Professor Sharp implants bionic technology in the others, awakening them. Afterwards, the family operates as a team of adventuring superheroes known to the world as the BIONIC SIX. The primary antagonist of the series is a mad scientist known as Dr. Scarab, who surprisingly is the brother of Professor Amadeus Sharp. Each episode usually revolves around Scarab trying to conquer the world or steal something of great value, which triggers the BIONIC SIX into action. Along with his gang of henchmen, Glove, Madam O, Chopper, Mechanic, Clunk, and his legion of drone robots called Cyphrons, Scarab will stop at no end to fulfill his desire to obtain the secrets of immortality and ruling the world. Scarab believes that the key to both goals lies in the secret of bionic technology invented by his brother, which clearly is superior to his own technology. So Dr. Scarab will often use devious plots to try and capture or kill the BIONIC SIX while searching for the technological fountain of youth and become immortal. The Bennett family includes Jack, Helen, and their 4 children, Eric, Meg, JD, and Bunji. They live in a secluded oceanfront home in the fictional city of Cypress Cove in Northern California. Each member wears a special ring and a wrist comp which they use to activate their bionic powers. The BIONIC SIX can also combine their powers by joining hands, creating a bionic link to amplify their abilities. Jack Bennett, aka BIONIC 1, is an engineer, expert test pilot, and a secret agent known to the world only as BIONIC 1. BIONIC 1's powers are mostly related to his bionic eyes, including X-ray vision, telescopic sight, energy blast, and low-powered beams that temporarily cause electronic devices to malfunction or even turn against their users. His family was initially unaware of his secret bionic identity until bestowed with powers of their own. Helen Bennett, aka Mother 1, is Jack's wife. She is an oceanographer and an accomplished marine biologist. Mother 1 possesses various ESP powers that allow her to occasionally see glimpses of the future, telepathically communicate with other sentient and non-sentient beings, determine the function or operation of mechanical devices by mentally tracing their internal workings, and can mentally project hologram-like optical illusions. She is also an accomplished fighter, having bested Dr. Scarab's henchwoman Madame O on occasions when the two physically fought each other one-on-one. Eric Bennett, aka Sport 1, is Jack and Helen's athletic son. A local at Albert Einstein High School, Eric is a shortstop on the baseball team, the Einstein Atoms. He routinely employs baseball vernacular in his dialogue. As Sport 1, he affects electromagnetic powers to attract or repel metallic objects with tremendous force, meld them together, or even rip them apart. This force is directional and, by varying the configuration of his hands or by using one or both arms, Sport 1 can adjust the strength of attraction or repulsion. He can also use objects as he would a baseball bat, including steel beams, lampposts, and other objects, to redirect incoming objects and energy blast. Infused by the same field that comes from his arms, he can use those ordinary fragile objects to hit and deflect things they normally could not. Meg Bennett, aka Rock 1, is Jack and Helen's daughter and Eric's younger sister. Meg is an excitable and somewhat ditzy teen who loves music. She is prone to habitual use of future slang phrases such as solar, mega, and ultra. At Albert Einstein High School, Meg is a member of the debate team. As Rock 1, she can emit sonic beams from blaster units mounted on her shoulders. The blaster units are only visible when she assumes bionic mode. She can also run at blinding speeds, faster than any other members of the team. JD Bennett, aka IQ, is Jack and Helen's remarkably intelligent adopted son. He enjoys amateur boxing, although he is not particularly skilled at it. As IQ, he has both superhuman strength and super intelligence. JD was the only team member whose bionic codename did not include a number 1 as a suffix. Bunjiro Bunji Bennett, aka Karate 1, is Jack and Helen's Japanese foster son. He was placed under their guardianship after his own father disappeared 10 years earlier somewhere in the East. Bunji is an avid karate enthusiast. As Karate 1, he has enhanced martial arts skills made more formidable when applying his biotics. As such, his agility level surpasses that of his teammates, and his reflexes are among the sharpest, and only Rock 1's reflexes surpass him due to her super speed. Fluffy is a gorilla-like robot who lives as a housekeeper with the Bennetts. he regularly demonstrates a comical craving for aluminum cans that extend to casually devouring the Bennett's cookware, vehicles, or other metal objects. Despite his bungling behavior, he nonetheless proves helpful around the Bennett home or assisting the BIONIC SIX with physical tasks in the field. The first season of BIONIC SIX introduces viewers to the Bennett family and to Scarab and his goons. Karate 1's origin is explored, and the mystery of his missing father is introduced. The origins of both the BIONIC SIX and of Scarab and his lackeys is revealed early in the 10th episode of the first season, Bionics On, The First Adventure. The second season continues on from the first seamlessly. Old supporting characters and new characters are brought aboard. Oh, did you know that aside from the obvious connection between Helen and Jack Bennett being influenced by the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman live-action shows, that there is also another actor that shares a connection between the BIONIC SIX cartoons and those live-action shows of the late 70s. Professor Dr. Amadeus Sharp was voiced by Alan Oppenheimer, who interestingly enough was also Dr. Rudolph Rudy Wells in both the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman television shows. Some of you might even know him as the voice of Skeletor for the Masters of the Universe cartoons and in films voicing the memorable Luck Dragon Falcor in The Never-Ending Story. Also the voice actor for Dr. Scarab, Jim McGeorge, based his performance for his character from another actor, the legendary George C. Scott. And also, when you have the legendary voice actor Frank Welker in your cartoons voicing 3 characters, Chopper, Glove, and the Mechanic, you, my friend, have yourself a winner. Much like various cartoon shows of the 80s, a toy line was produced to accompany the show. Produced by LJN in 1986, the line consisted of 13 figures: Jack, Helen, JD, Eric, Meg, Boonji, Fluffy, Dr. Scarab, Glove, Mechanic, Madam O, Chopper, and Clunk, which also included 5 vehicles and 1 playset. These vehicles were made up of plastic and die-cast metal, with some of the figures having transparent limbs. Fluffy, the robot ape, was difficult to find early in the show's release, but became easier to come by later as the line lost popularity. Today, the line remains moderately collectible, with the playset and vehicles being the hardest to come across. BIONIC SIX features an animation that's just as attractive, consistent, and inviting now as it was in 1987. The stories of BIONIC SIX are quite enjoyable and fun, and also surprisingly energetic. One example is in the series finale, That's All Folks, which our heroes and their evil nemesis find themselves in an alternate dimension, a cartoon dimension resembling an animation style highly reminiscent of Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs, both which would be animated by TMS soon enough. Think about it, cartoon characters turning into cartoon characters, something very unique for that time. The plot plays tribute to the golden age of animation. Forced into retirement by a focus group of Seth's studio, legendary cartoon creator Flub Fleming, a nod to Fritz Freylang, an animator, cartoonist, director, producer, composer known for his work on the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons, is told that nobody wants to see his kind of cartoons anymore. It is then that in a reward ceremony that he casually opens a hole in the reality and disappears into a cartoon dimension, but not before telling everyone in attendance,
Object lessons in understanding our social position relative to the group dynamic. That is what a cartoon is for.
No, my dear. This is what a cartoon is for. I guess there's no place in this world anymore for someone who just wants to make kids laugh. So I'm going to a place where children have something to laugh at. Goodbye.
Soon, Karate 1, Rock 1, and IQ are there, along with the villain Scarab, Mechanic, and Clunk. All 6 characters immediately transform into cartoony, misshapen versions of themselves, and they spend the rest of the episode struggling to navigate through the perilous and strange landscape, learning firsthand the physical laws and limitations, or lack thereof, of a world where you never fall until you notice that you're walking a mile above ground. The switch from something lightly more grounded in style and animation to a Looney Tunes slapstick style is something I don't believe I've ever seen in a cartoon. Once they have defeated Scarab and his minions, IQ, Rock 1, and Karate 1 return to the real world. But before the actual cartoon ends, IQ notes that in the cartoon dimension, the characters were unaware that they were imaginary characters. He then wonders if it is at all possible that he and everyone else in the real world are cartoon characters themselves. His family dismisses his thoughts as meaningless babble. The last shot of the episode is followed by a bunch of cartoons from the cartoon dimension walking outside the Bennett family residence and break the fourth wall as the episode fades out. Now that's how you end a series. A great family show that reinforced all the good things: family, unity, diversity, and using your abilities to the greater good. If you get a chance to see this show, take a chance on it and you might discover how truly amazing this show is. The characters have depth, are well drawn, and the animation is of incredible quality for an animated program of that era. Sure, the stories and writing are typical and feature typical situations that you'll find protagonists of a superhero action adventure show, usually with Scarab being constantly defeated and trying his luck again in the next episode, but even with that, it's still very entertaining. The concept is definitely refreshing, and it's definitely a show you should take a look at when you're in the mood to ease that nostalgic itch. You fight for them, and they'll fight for you. Thank you so much, and remember, when it comes to cartoons we grew up with, that to truly appreciate something, you have to accept its strengths and its faults, no matter what they are, because when that happens, you can appreciate how amazing it was and how amazing it continues to be. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time.